we are back again trying to get this E90 to run. This is my $1,000 Copart E90 that I purchased and have been working through getting running again. So in the last video, you saw that I had the engine replaced, and while it does idle and it does run, it runs awful. So we're gonna go ahead and try figuring out what's the problem and getting this thing to idle correctly and not go into limp mode the entire time. So I did some digging within Protools, and I found that the problem seems to be mostly related to the exhaust camshaft sensor, which is right here where my finger is pointing. So this is a brand new one I did get on Amazon, and it's still throwing the code. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick look in Pro Tools, and then I can show you how I found that problem, and hopefully it's as simple as changing out the Amazon generic one to the OEM BMW one I bought, and keep going from there. All right, we are inside my E90. I have Pro Tools open, and let's go and turn off that hot Latino music that was left by the previous owner. Hold on. Okay, I have the Pro Tools app connected to the car. I use the MHD OBD2 scanner for this. You can totally use a generic one off Amazon, but I initially just bought the MHD for a different project. But anyways, with Pro Tools open, you can see obviously there's a lot of different systems you can connect to. So for now, I'm only interested in what's going on with the engine. So I'm going to go ahead and read out the errors. And wowee, lots and lots and lots and lots of problems. So I know what most of these are. I'm having some weird issues with the accelerator pedal. I don't know if I have to replace it or something. But the only thing we're really concerned about right now is this camshaft sensor exhaust signal. So as you can see with Pro Tools, it's been occurring quite a bit. So obviously every time I attempt to start this thing, it's triggering this code. So it's for some reason just having that to happen. So you can see there might possibly be an issue with the wire itself or just replacing the sensor. I have a feeling it might be just the sensor because it is a generic one. So let's go ahead and change it. And if that still isn't the case, let's go ahead and try to do some testing on the wiring. Truth be told, I did not order a brand new one. I did get this off my original seized up engine. It shouldn't really matter. I'm pretty sure this one did work when I scanned the codes initially when I got the car. So I don't think this really matters. I'm using this one. I just know I'm just pretty confident this is a good known working one. So if I swap this in, if it's still having issues, then we are more than likely having some strange issues with the wiring. So let's go and figure this out. I don't know if you saw that from me actually pulling this out, but I think I might have seen the problem. So it looks like this was double gasketed. I'm assuming the original O-ring did not come out of the cylinder head when I put this in, and I accidentally double stacked these O-rings. So that will totally throw off that measurement, which makes sense. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw this back in with just the one O-ring and see if this thing acts any different, and see if I'm the source of all my problems like I usually am, or if this really is a bad sensor. So I'm hoping that's just the problem and I don't have to do a bunch of wiring. So let's go ahead and find out. All right, if that was it, I'm gonna feel pretty fucking stupid, but I guess that's a simple problem anybody could encounter from doing this swap. So let's go ahead and try firing this thing up and seeing if the idle smoothed out at all. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and swap out that again. I went ahead and swapped out the sensor for the OEM BMW one. So I'm gonna go ahead and once again clear out these codes, clear out the adaptations. So now should be good. I went ahead and also threw up some live data of the different sensors. So I'll be honest, I don't exactly know which one relates to being the exhaust and which one's the actual intake side. So once I figure that out, I'm probably just gonna add this as a caption somewhere here. But at least I'm gonna keep an eye on this and see if there's any values that look odd to me. So the only thing that I guess looks odd is these values that look very negative comparative to these other ones. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and try firing it up and seeing what happens. Yeah. These values aren't even changing, but the rest seem to be. It's somewhat of a consistent idle. Absolutely no response in the throttle though. All right, let's go ahead and shut this thing off and look at the codes again. Still the same code, return once again. So let's go ahead and look at the wiring and try to see if there's possibly a break somewhere. That's my only guess of why potentially we're not even seeing anything on live data. All right, so after a little bit of wire tracing, it turns out I'm the dingus again. So what I found is actually that the sensor that's used to connect the compressor and as well the exhaust or intake camshaft sensors, they both use the exact same harness for whatever reason. And they coincidentally both are kind of in the same area. So in my case, I had my exhaust camshaft sensor plugged into the AC compressor and the AC compressor one hooked up to my camshaft sensor. So that probably is why I was getting a ridiculous no signal, just because this doesn't even carry the signal wire. So anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and correct that and go ahead and try to clean this wire loom up and trying to clean up my mess of trying to diagnose this all back together, and we're gonna go ahead and try firing this thing up. I got those wires swapped. Let's go ahead and try firing this thing up once again. Well, the kind of idle's better. I've cleared out the codes in Pro Tool, so let's go ahead and see what will show up now. All right, got a couple new codes. Guess I'll have to try figuring out what's up with this one. All right, I reset the adaptations. Got a few different codes again, but it's actually kind of running a little better, which is odd. I actually have control over the throttle again. So, that's cool. Still can tell something's going on with the synchronization with the camshaft sensors. Sorry I've been jumping around. I've been kind of trying to figure this out as I've been going. So, I actually was able to get rid of those weird synchronization errors by going in Pro Tools and clicking functions and redoing the calibration for the Valvetronic. Afterwards, I didn't see those synchronization errors come back. As you can see now, I'm pulling it up. So far, I'm having a misfire on cylinder 2. I moved one of my coil packs to a different cylinder, so I just know I got to replace that one. I don't have my ambient sensor plugged in, and that sensor might be just dead. This is no biggie. I'm just glad those camshaft errors are gone. So that's a huge win for me. Still surging really weird at idle, even though I don't have that. So I guess I still have more diagnosing to do. And possibly maybe because I don't have the ambient sensor and it might use that for its fuel trim. I guess I'll figure that one out too. But good news is all the Valvetronic stuff seems to be sorted out. So that has been the biggest pain. But as you can see, rev's pretty nice. So looks like we're pretty good here. All right, it's finally time to go ahead and put this front end back together. I have been staring at the front clip removed at this thing for what has almost been a month now. So I'm hyped to get this thing actually back together and hopefully clear up the Christmas tree of lights because of all the BCM stuff unplugged. So let's go ahead and throw that back on. Went ahead and installed new ignition coils for the car. Hopefully that should fix the issue of one of the cylinders misfiring from a bad ignition coil. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to swapping out that bad O2 sensor. Should be pretty easy, especially now since I've upgraded to having some quick jacks, so I can actually easily just lift this thing up super high and go on a crawler and just swap this out. So let's go ahead and get that done. And just like that, I have the Beamer set up. I went ahead and drove it around the property a little bit. It's been driving great. Still has a couple more codes I just kind of have to work through. Probably have to do a couple more calibrations again with the MHD scanner slash Pro Tool setup I got. But otherwise it idles great, drives great. Have to bleed the power steering a little bit, but that's no problem compared to what we just did. So I went ahead and cleaned it up. Paint looks a lot better, not covered in shop cat prints everywhere. So could definitely use a 2-stage paint correction, but it's no biggie. So still got plenty more to do. That includes changing out this front bumper. Right now it's got a quick disconnect fog light. So the only way I can probably fix that is just changing out this bumper. It's completely destroyed anyways and has chips all over it, so it's no biggie to change this out. And also doing a full detail and a couple other things, and definitely cleaning up these headlights. I already got a Cerakote kit to go ahead and clean these up. So that is it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out here. So stay tuned for more stuff going on with this E90, including changing out the front bumper and some other cool stuff I got planned for it. If you found this video entertaining, please give video a like, and if you want to see more E90 stuff coming up or any of my other projects, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Peace.